here for UCSC Black, it will be -0, Worm, Fodlicus, I believe is the way we say that, and Kinuryu, and then Yunjia coming in at the support role.
It just say Poopy Worm as their jungler and Slugs as their mascot. That's awesome. I love them already. Texas A&M Maroon on the other side. One of the two Texas A&M teams in this division. We've got Tracks of Trades in the top lane. Jimothy Jamil or Jimajam in the jungle. Senator Kova in the mid lane. Coat as their bot lane. And Eric Zender as support. Is that supposed to be Alexander or something?
Underway, we are seeing that Worm is going to be playing that Gwen and going to be having a lovely time.
Okay, so Orbital. One thing, I should justify the bot lane a little bit more here, and why I'm calling it on the Olaf and why I'm not talking about the Caitlyn getting the kill, despite the fact that I did say Caitlyn is a very oppressive lane, and that's partially due to the junglers. Gwen jungle. I can't remember the last time I've seen it. It almost was like a year or almost 2 years ago where Gwen was that popular flex into top and jungle, but Gwen ganks aren't really why you pick her in the jungle. Like, her ganks aren't the scariest thing. Now, with Ghost, she can run you down, similar to Olaf, but without the axis, it's hard for the rest of the team to keep up. So, I do think the junglers might be the biggest factor. -0 dodges the first axe.
Oh, well, you know what? It might be the Olaf. It may not be on the bot side, but Dash still has. But that's going to be the taunt. You can't even get out. That's going to be the kill. Oh, Jax takes it. You tried RMC. Hey. A for effort. I mean, we'll give you a half a point right now. That was an assist over there. Still, though, aggression all around, and this is, I mean, we want this, right? You take a look at the lanes. You don't want them to be passive. You want to see that aggression come out. You want to see that fight, and we already got it.
So the Ono actually wasn't even about my prediction. It was just that -0 died, and Jax of Trades got first blood. That is the worst possible situation for this Fiora. You're already going to struggle into a stat stick. If the stat stick gets ahead, it stays ahead. And unfortunately for -0, no flash. Teleport burnt early. The deck is kind of stacked against them, and I love what Jam did immediately with that kill. Just said, hey, I'm here, I might as well invade, take everything you got, and potentially we might see a vertical jungle, which is only going to be worse for -0.
Don't let it get to, but I mean, in these situations, might, however, is going to be pretty happy about these slows. Remember, the ignite is there. If you get 2 more tags, it might be enough, but I'm going to look on the bot side a little bit. Gwen hovering around just in case
go back
things
top.
go
Dash
wrong,
getting
but
ganked.
it is going to look here. 50% HP. I don't think the trade wants to take this trade.
Okay, yeah. Jax of Trade had an interesting level 1 because he opted for the spin. That means he didn't have to heal to sustain, which we normally see from a lot of Jax's level 1. But now that he's level 3, he does have that. He's got the cry as well to push back the Fiora. And Jim, unfortunately for Jim Dam, didn't quite manage to get the kill that second time round, but we'll buy enough space. And now we are seeing the full vertical jungle. Poopy Worm did recognize that I got invaded on. Let's split the map. And now Colt and Xander should be careful or just look for a kill, because why not? What?
Yeah, going, hey, maybe I can get something, but everyone quite low. I mean, we wanted blood, but I didn't think all the lanes would be this. I have no other ways to put it, but everyone is basically sitting under 50% HP consistently. If they're finding this hard, both Jimmy Jam and Worm are going to be an interesting, depending on where they want to go, especially with the split of the map. Their choices for gank pathing will be very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think it's actually better for the side of Texas A&M, pardon me. That's a lot of letters there. Just because Olaf is better at diving if it comes down to it. I'm not confident that Gwen will be able to put out the damage. A lot of her damage does depend on landing that Q, especially being in the middle of it where you deal true damage. And on a turret dive of all things, you don't always have the leeway to set that up perfectly. So I think Texas A&M, they're more than happy to play this aggressive early game and just set up Jim Jam, especially as that Ghost is coming up soon. Once it is up, I would love to see it being used into a gank.
Brighton's pretty much all around, but at the current lane state, Fodlicus is a little bit in damage mode. Has had actually a fantastic time. He wins the war, really chipping away. Yeah. So everyone's kind of at that stalemate now. They sent out all the early aggression. It's been damaging. Jimmy Jam's ready to look for, again, clearing out a majority share. Realize the jungle gap is there, and now we're gonna get that fight. It's actually cooked beef on the menu. Just a simple gank gives Coat a kill in the bot side.
Okay, I've never worked on a farm, but I will say, oh, that's close, man. I will say that chucking an axe at a cow is probably not the best way to get beef. I believe that would kind of ruin the meat and make it a little bit tense. But hey, on Summoner's Rift, it does get you killed and it does get you gold. Poopy Worm now hovering around the bot side, does have the ghost to try and run people down, but Code has flash and Xander's just recon. So good luck trying to catch that.
Not just that, you don't know, but off on the side, Jimmy Jam is currently on Dragon, and because of that, it's a 3v1. If you were to take that fight, it's also Infernal, which is very, very nice to have. Worm is trying to go over, and Gia was able to come back, and now that's going to be a Ghost Burn. And now they're going to fight. That's going to be the ultimate coming in. The Gatling is going to try and knock him up, and Worm is taunted and killed. The Slam of the Fist is there, and all of a sudden, TMU looking strong here. The Maroon Squad taking the kills and putting marks on that board. In Ryu, not enjoying that one, has to flash over the wall. You are alive, but massive swing here as Dragon will be started up once again.
And it's just top side.
I was watching this one. I mean, they don't really have all the damage just yet, but that's a flash in, and that's the proc of the Vital. If you can get one more, if Dash is able to get it, you might be able to win it out, but no, Jackson Trades very nicely buffers against it. No Dash will win, and Dash will lose their life.
Infernal picked up by Texas A&M as well on that bot side. And Orbital, let's talk top lane a little bit because it's becoming an issue, right? That's 2 kills now onto Jax of Trades. And Dash Zero took Ignite. The Ignite is an interesting choice because you sacrificed a flash for it. If you're taking the Ignite, you're looking to win the lane hard. Once Tryndamere kind of hit 6, that Ignite is a lot less useful. You've got to time it right. And more importantly, you've got to be able to win the trade in the first place, even through that ultimate, because if not, the Ignite's not going to help you. It's not going to cut the Undying Rage. It'll only cut the healing after. And now that Jax of Trades has an advantage, you're seeing the price you pay without the flash. You can't run away from Tryndamere, and even worse, he can dive you into turret.
Right now, they're getting chased down, but doesn't have the ult, and because of that, you are dead. Trying to get to that wall to spin out, but not going to happen. Because of that, you are able to help out a little bit more. Cal, once again, on the menu. This time, it's a little bit of a proc, and that's going to be very, very nice, but this is leading UCSC having some struggles here in the early game.
Yep. We do have to note, though, Kinu Ryu is still up CS, right? The Caitlyn is still doing its job. It's unfortunate, though, that with that early gank, it feels like a lot of what UCSC wanted to do in a lot of their lanes is kind of falling apart at this point.
I mean, I gotta agree. You can take it there, right? That early trade just shows how confident Alexander and Coke currently are in this bot side. They are looking so happy. Dash Zero also trying to get a little bit of extra speed thanks to the Grand Challenge. And I mean, you're going to be safe. However, keep this in mind. You expend that ult just to try and stay away. Because of that, Jackson Trades is going to have a great time once that Undying is there.
Yeah, and more importantly, neither Jax nor Jim Jam blew any summoners to make that happen. So again, once the ghosts come up, and keep in mind, ghosts is a shorter cooldown than flash as well, right? So you're not waiting for 6 minutes or 5 minutes to get each gank off. You're looking at close to like 3 or 4 minutes where you can keep revisiting that lane over and over again. Now it's good that Poopy Worm got the kill on Jax though. There was a bounty there, and we didn't touch too much on this Gwen, who hasn't been able to get ganks off, but we mentioned it before a little bit. Gwen scales. That's why you pick her for that late game. So Poopy Worm just wants to farm as much as possible and wants the lanes to stay safe. Don't die is the name of the game right now for UCSC.
Let's see if they can pull that off. Right now, thing is leaning still a little bit more into the favor of TMU, but for right now, that vertical jungling has split off. You can take a look at the situation with the junglers. Jimmy Jam currently up in a little bit of the score in terms of 3 assists. The kill, though, going the way of Worm, who is also a little bit further ahead in the camp stacks.
Yeah, Kova has perma pressure in this mid lane. I feel like every time we look here, he's just shoving this wave. And sure, it's not creating a CS lead. Yeah, I'm actually more worried for Photolakis trying to push up on that. You don't have vision on Jim Jam yet.
I like how every time we're talking about this, it's a little bit different because now Dash is getting dope under tower. Good attempt at a repulse, but I mean, I think the Ignite might take it. No! Oh my lord, Jax still lives. That was on a fragment, single digits at least. And all of a sudden that top lane is fully gone. You were talking about it earlier, you know, hey, the chances are there. However, first time's the proper mistake. Second time's a problem. Third time, I mean, it's over.
Yep. And that's the risk we're talking about with Ignite, right? It's not going to finish off the kill unless you already won the fight prior to that. And now, Jax of Trades isn't just Dash Zero's problem anymore. it's everybody's problem. And even worse, Jim Jam's everybody else's problem. Right now, Jim Jam has been focusing that top lane, getting this Tryndamere ahead, and that's given Kinryu and Yunja the sort of peace of mind to be able to push out with this Caitlyn, which is exactly what we want to do. Yeah, that's not happening anymore. Now you do have to be very worried about that Olaf coming to the bot lane. You do need to make sure you've got the proper wards covering the entrances.
And that, I think, is appropriate. Worm already drops a pink ward down, trying to get a scope of the one of the main entrances into the spot lane. Really keep eyes. And, I mean, damn you, Coat and Alexander are just being annoyances, I think is the best way to put it. I have no other words for it. Just like constantly stopping recalls here. This is frustrating, by the way. For a Caitlyn who needs to spend their CS lead, to be stopped twice feels kind of bad. It's not all game ending, right? Don't get me wrong, but it's frustrating as heck.
Oh, they're gonna do it again.
Oh. Third time would have been ending though. I would have been like, all right, nah, that should not happen at all.
Third time would have cost them the dragon at that point,
Yeah.
because at that point Kinryu can't reset and actually get to the dragon in time. If Texas A&M are actually set up to take that one, then they just have a numbers advantage. As it stands, Kinryu will be there, and that's important because UCSC needs some wins on the board. Bot side is still one of the places on the map they can try and play to, but they are in a bit of a power trough. Noon Quiver is not equivalent to Sheen when it comes to fighting.
Over 2-5 broken alive. Be able to survive. One more axe should take it, or
Axe.
another crush to the head, and it works. Jacksonville might be able to win this out. Great repose to keep him alive, and it's not going to happen. Jacksonville trades with the flash, able to get the kill, but Worm is going to try and finish it off. You are able to do so, but you sacrifice that and dragon.
You know what? That's not bad for UCSC on that top trade, because Poopy Worm still answers 1-for-1, and Poopy Worm, I guess, is the scaling threat now. The problem is this bot side of the map, right? The fact that we talked about Caitlyn still being one of the stronger points, but because Fodlacus got run down, you can't contest that dragon. And Cloud's not that big a deal, but giving 2 Drakes stacking over to Texas A&M, and it turns out to be a Hex Soul as well, now that's going to be a problem. They have to contest later. I don't know if they've got the strength to.
See what they can do. I mean, this is I don't really have words. It's just like if as a mid laner, it feels bad watching that happen, but it's so necessary sometimes. Oh, okay, this is the proper response, though. Coat is going to get jumped on. Exhaust goes down, but Yunji is currently all alone, and that ace in the hole is not actually going to do enough. And because of that, Kinryu actually takes a lot of tower damage. Two-shot barrage is about to grab 2, but it's not going to happen. Instead, the cleanup will be there. Jacksonville trades is actually getting hit up as well, and now the axe, a double knockup is almost there, but that is going to be the cloak to work. Kill goes in for Jimmy Jam, and Dash 0 is getting cut down. You are dashing your way to another 0th kill. Not a chance in the world, as wins across the board for Texas A&M Maroon.
Texas A&M Maroon walk softly and carry 2 very big stat sticks. Jacks of Trades, Jimmy Jam, they're taking off. It just feels like it's kind of Jover or UCSC. And you look at their composition, you kind of knew that, okay, they needed to get some sort of early lead, and it didn't pan out, and Texas A&M has just not given them any space to breathe. They've been pressuring constantly, skirmishing constantly, and for UCSC right now, they're praying to slow down the pace of this game. They need to give time for Poopy Worm and Dash 0 to come online.
Oh my gosh, and Jax actually knows exactly how long it is until that ult comes up. You're fighting for multiple seconds and saying, hey, I can fight this because my ult comes up in about 2 seconds, and you both live. That is ridiculous. TAMU allowed to walk out of the jungle against UCSC's completely healthy members.
Allowed to, Orbital. UCSC didn't have a choice. And Senator Kova, I love, you know, the Ramus with sunglasses, thumbs up on his way out. Kova knew that he just facilitated that escape. Good on UCSC to recognize that the moment that Galio, the hero's entrance, showed up on the ground, they could not fight that. 3v2, they can still win those, but the moment Kova shows up, they're done.
Oh, now Yunji, yeah, this is unfortunate. Thankfully for the Unbreakable Will, you're okay, you're alive, and you're happy. However, that would have been your 5th death, almost matching Dash 0, and that sounds mean, but it's the hard truth that UCSC have to face right now.
It's fine. Ninja will survive 2.5 minutes till Dragon comes up. That ult will be up in time for that fight. They're just going to have to surrender Herald, but gonna be honest, they have no business fighting it. Shockwave is still down for Fodlacus, and to me, that's the bigger ultimate I'm looking at right now. It's got to be some sort of wombo combo, or you got to find a squishy. Somebody you can burn quickly, but Orbital, who on Texas is squishy? There's one person, Colt, and so far Colt's positioning has been immaculate.
They have been so good, and it's gonna continue here. I mean, if you're talking about cut through, this is yeah, coach just like, I'll do it. I'll style in your face right now. There's not a care in the world with the Trinity Force already built. Now Worm is gonna do the same. If you win this one, that is gonna be ridiculous from Cope, but Worm should have to chase down. Smite goes in. I mean, these should be the scissors. Finished them off, but still took out a chunk because you drew down the jungler as well. There's no one to really defend mid, and TMU make the best out of a situation where their ADC died. They're going to take 2 towers.
Shockwave is available for Floodlacus, but they're running out of mana real quick. Herald, can Shelly get a third?
I think so. I think they're going to try. No, that's going to be the knockup. They're going to say, no, we don't allow it. That is going to be a forced engage coming out of UNG just to stop that Herald from crashing.
He's sweating over. We are 15.5 minutes in, and Texas A&M are knocking on the base doors of UCSC. If that charge had gone off, I don't think the inhibitor is going to last the 20 minutes at this point. So that's massive for UCSC that they managed to block that and buy themselves more time. 6k gold disadvantage. It's huge. It's big, Orbital, but it's not game over yet. UCSC, they've still got a chance. I just don't know how they're going to facilitate it because their comp doesn't really have a proper engager to set up the Orianna, and we kind of mentioned that in draft.
I think you're leaning on Worm right now, right? 3-2-0, and we've seen Gwen's get very scary. If you get the best opportunity, I'm saying this again, it's a shot in the dark, but I mean, you already got 3 kills on him, right? You are praying that this Gwen becomes a monster, and this doesn't happen, but it does, and your ADC and support are bullied out of mid lane. Not a chance in the world. Jacks of trades, making sure that kills are made in their honor before Dragon pops up.
Yeah, and with the way Texas A&M are right now, they don't need to send everybody to Dragon. They can actually continue the siege in the mid lane and just send Jim Jam. Oh, Dash. That should be fine, right? Yeah, okay.
Dash has the dash.
We had to ask, well, Dash Zero, though. Is the full name of Dash there?
Oh my gosh, we're not even getting a chance right now. This feels a little bit forced. They're trying to go in right now. UCSC trying to make something happen. However, the shot barrage lands on so many. The exhaust doing absolutely nothing. In the back line, it's a triple kill of all people. The Galio grabs it. The Winds of War. Kova sends them to the grave.
Put some respect on that name.
Do it. Get that pit. Oh, Code! You are terrible. 9x Code. 9x Code right there. That was a Galio Penta.
Bro, Code, you just stole a potential Penta from your team captain. Are you not afraid to get benched? No, that's Senator Kova, though. That wombo combo, that bounce house. Unfortunately for, I think it was Poopy Worm, like their foot never even touched the ground. They just got knocked up repeatedly, and we're saying that, oh, well, Poopy Worm's got gold. Doesn't matter if Poopy Worm can't put out the damage. The fight continues because respawn time is a solo.
And I mean, Jax, also the ult timer is quite low. However, you try to use that gate, and by the way, for everyone that doesn't know, any sort of damage will knock you out of it. It's just like, it's frustrating.
Wait, Yunja?
All right, Yunja says you ain't getting away scot-free. Let's fight this out. I mean, you don't really have any HP left to work with, but it is going to be death. Coat, though, is ripping the damage apart. A great stopwatch keeps Alexander alive, and because of that, you might be able to fight back. However, that Fed Gwen that we talked about is going to be there. A trade back on the backside. Dash Zero is able to get this huge shutdown bounty off the top of Kova, but Jimmy Jam wants it. In comes that Ragnarok Ace in the hole, though. That is huge. Dash Zero collects not 1, but 2 total bounties. Of all things that happen, yes, your base is destroyed. Don't get me wrong. It's bad. However, that main damage dealer in the top side might have just come back online.
And the Dragon and the bounty that's going to come from this Orbital. We're saying UCSC, they kind of need a miracle. It's looking dire, but it could still happen. Is this the miracle we needed? Probably not. They're still 8k gold.
Like, we got to be realistic here. We got to be honest.
Oh, can they steal this? There's no jungler here.
I think this should be fine, right?
He's running his
yeah, it's gotten. I was like, there's no way Jax actually gets here in time, right? So that's okay. Oh no! Kova's coming back for it. Kova went ahead, TP'd in, and tried to get a funny flank off. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out. So I mean, instead of getting the entire base, you get an inhibitor, a bunch of towers, and a lot of extra gold in your pocket. I mean, I think, Tim, you are okay.
Did they stop the channel? No.
Dang, that feels bad. Okay, never mind. RMC, you're not allowed to talk. I don't care what you say. You're just not allowed to say anything because we're getting another fight. Jax literally just came back up and is already down at like no HP. Coat is gonna watch as their top laner is going. Are you kidding me? No, that is illegal. Jax lives in that entire. Are you freaking? I would uninstall right there.
Take your Gwen as immune and introduce it to the version 2.0. Tryndamere Undying Rage, just undying. He just will not die. Right straight to Baron as well.
Wouldn't that technically be 1.0?
Or like beta version, I guess, technically.
Yeah,
but it's better,
like,
Orbital. It's winning. Tryndamere's winning this broken out war.
How does that work? Come on. Like, Tryndamere came out first, so Gwen would technically be the 2.0. It's just 2.0 isn't better, right?
More isn't always better, Orbital. It's not about the size. Sometimes it's about how you use it, you know? Yeah, so in this case, I think Jackson creates all being much better utilized. And it really sucks because for UCSC, a lot of this happened in the laning phase, right? It felt like the game snowballed out their hands within the first 7 minutes of the game. But if we ignore that, if we look at how UCSC has been playing since then, they're playing the mid game well, as best they can considering the gold deficit they're playing at. Yes, the fights look messy, but the fact that they're even fighting equal at all with this gold deficit speaks a lot to the individual mechanics of the players. And I think you kind of just look at this and go, okay, we maybe just look at game 2 instead.
I can agree with that, and this, I think, showcases why they're doing well as well. TAMU are starting to get a little bit funky with it. They're willing to go, one player in, but that's the thing about these mid-games. The reason that you can play well is you have to learn how to, fight when opportunities come up, and I think that's one of them, right? Yes, Jax will go ahead and heal that up as best as possible, but you gotta find those moments, and there it is, the shockwave lands. Yes, there's not a whole lot of damage, but maybe some work can be done. In goes Ragnarok, doing a lot of damage, and Worm has to get the heck out of there. They can't get through the wall. That feels so dang bad. Dash was able to get behind him. And you know what? It looked good. They had the right idea. However, the damage is not there, and instead Jax gets free reign on the bot side. This is looking like GG as that wave is pushed, and no one is stopping them.
Super's coming in the mid lane with Baron buff to root and down Poopy Worm. That's a lot of your damage not available.
Oh, okay. The taunt is almost there. I mean, this is that last fight. This is going to be that last ditch effort. Final inhibitor tower falls. Inhibitor will fall behind as well. Kova is getting looked at. Jax is straight up man moding here and saying, I mean, they just do not care. These players are playing on a nice edge, and honestly, I love it.
But with a Tryndamere out, you can dance at that nice edge for all you want. It's already back up. The cooldown is so short. Now, Poopy Worm is back up as well, but the poke from Colt right now is hitting. That's something we didn't see earlier because Colt was stuck on an inhibitor turret. And now that Colt's actually chipping away at the Nexus turrets, you can see how effective Nexus is.
I mean, this is just a siege of siege. Like, this has been going on for 30 seconds. And the wave clear coming out is so nice. However, Fadlicus needs to get back and get some more mana. These towers are going to fall. You get one last chance at a major fight, and that's what they're going to hone their edge on. That's going to be a triple knockup in. Shockwave not really going to land. It only lands on one in the back line. And because of that split fight is going to be real, Dash is almost able to nuke Code. Code is about to die. Code does die. However, the damage has been done, and death is all around as it's a triple kill for Jackson Trades and an ace for TAMU Maroon. Game 1 in dominating fashion will go the way.
As much as we talk up the Yone, keep in mind it is still a melee into a ranged matchup. So Ziggs going to be able to enjoy that early on before the Yone really scales up and actually has the damage to be able to all in effectively.
I would honestly say I prefer Vigar, 100% Vigar over. No hate to Ziggs. I just couldn't find a Vigar statue, but Vigar's my boy. Vigar also sucks in this matchup, by the way. Don't take my advice at all. Please, don't actually take my
I was thinking for a second, I was like, wait, how does that work? Because you can dash right out of the
No, you just get owned, pretty much. It sucks. Looking at this here, though, we will be keeping track of that one, and I think keeping track of how well Fadlicus is able to get that CS and work some magic. Bot side already, the shields, the heals coming out here, and already some of the stasis coming out of Eric Xander. We'll keep eyes on HP trades as well.
Good dodges so far from Kinuryu to make sure you don't get tagged by any of the poke coming out from Xander. Top lane Jax of Trades already with the early level 2 bullying out. And watch junglers a little bit. They both started top side, but you could always pop into the top lane and try and make something happen, especially for Poopy Worm.
You can see they're also, I wonder if this is actually going to make a difference. Jimmy Jam is currently on track to have a little bit faster pacing, right? You go ahead and see they did take those wolves quickly and are moving on to their fourth. It's a recall coming out of Worm, and that's going to be the problem, right? Worm thought about maybe helping out that top side, but he can't access. Happy about the current status.
Yeah, I mean, Dash Zero got chunked so quickly that if Poopy Worm had tried to force the gank, maybe you get the kill, but you probably don't get first blood. I'm worried about Dash Zero under the turret right now.
They're actually going to go in, but a good dash back might be able to trade out Dash Zero. It might not be the first blood that you really wanted, but it's the first blood you desperately needed. Well played from under the tower.
Dash Zero. The zero, I guess, refers to the amount of kills his late opponent's going to get. That was beautiful to dash away from that Counter-Strike. And Jacks of Trades went a little bit too deep, went a little bit too aggro, and it completely bounced back. The other thing to note is while all that pushing was happening, Dash Zero didn't drop actually that much CS. So Dash Zero is going to be getting the kill, didn't lose out the early pressure, and should be able to come back into lane with a bit of an item advantage. Especially this early on, 300 gold is worth a lot.
I will say, though, that is not one that you... I feel in certain trades, as much as, yes, it got the kill, it feels bad that it was gotten because of a tower dive, right? Maybe you were hoping that you actually got it in HP trades. However, it's still a dub, and now the wave's pressing against you. You have a little bit of a lead in that situation, but Jacks of Trades still more than willing to try and duke it out, even in a little bit of a minion wave. Look at the chunks, both ends right now. Dash hoping for another spin, can't find it, but Jacks of Trades really did not enjoy it. Gonna go ahead, recall, get back with the teleport.
A lot of that's that pickaxe different, right? That early gold that Dash Zero gets means he wins these trades. A lot of times with Conqueror, you have to be careful about these short trades that Jacks of Trades wants to get. You need the extended trades, but you're scared to keep going on in. Well, with the pickaxe, you're not anymore. Poopy Worm has flash and isn't afraid to try and go in on this one. Because doesn't have that much mana though. Oh.
I mean, not a whole lot of mana there, and also not in the HP trade. Kova actually had that one up. However, the threat of the Renekton roaming down here was enough to stave off any further engagements. So very well done on the side of UCSC.
Flash was blown by Poopy Worm in that exchange to survive, though. So we'll see if Tamu can take advantage of that. So far, Jimmy Jam, that was his first attempt at an invade, and he was doing it with that mid lane pressure. If Kova can continue to apply that, expect to see more hunting of the Samumu.
Looking here with the camps respawning, Dragon is currently up and available. Neither side really hard read on it. Ward's currently on for TMU Maroon, but not overly aggressive, if that makes sense. Everyone's just kind of like, keep eyes, because we want to make a move if we see someone step out of line.
Yeah, I think they're trying to find a significant advantage before they go for that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a kill. But if you get level leads, or hey, if you can force Fodlicus to base without a TP, maybe they go for that. We should touch on the bot lane as well, a lane that we've kind of largely ignored. It's gone not exactly the way I expected. It's not interactive. I mean, both sides are not really able to do anything against all the healing, but Colt has already found a CS lead in that bot lane somehow against an Ashe lane. So huge props to Colt. We'll have to see whether it's going to be the lethality or crit chance build. Crit got buffed, and Noon Quiver usually suggests more crit than the lethality build that we saw a lot of last patch.
I mean, you're also looking at the first strike, right? So I would assume lethality? Might correction there as well, though, but I think that might be it. True. However, we are seeing a taken out. Jax and Dash are both playing with fire once again. This might be a little bit of deja vu. You see it here, right? I'm watching this one with a honed edge. This is exactly how they died last time. However, level 5 versus level 4 Coat trying to get a little bit of advantage. Great range coming out here, expanding that range. Not just with the volley, but now just straight up with auto attack. That's going to be a flash in, though. Catch from behind and a knockback. Perfectly done. That is how you take a kill back, and Coat is going to thankfully grab that kill.
Now, that's coordination right there. If I pull that off my solo queue, that knockback from Maokai knocks him off the stun from the root from Xander. But they chained the CC perfectly. And even with the flash, Kinuru couldn't quite get away. Unfortunately, the buffer probably kind of messed that up. Kova doing a lot of damage, positioning well to not step over the mines on the way back.
Well, actually, the thing is you actually didn't do as much as you thought. Fodlicus was actually able to dash out most of the keys. That's your life. I played that straight up perfectly, and Kova falls instead. You do lose your life, however, your team gets a dragon, but still, that mid lane did not pan out like I thought.
And honestly, that mid lane fight had nothing to do with the dragon, right? So, Fodlicus, that's not like, oh, we got a kill at the expense of dragon. No. Fodlicus just won the 1v1, and that is beautiful to see, especially when the last time, or every time we've looked at the mid lane, it has been Kova pushing up. So I'm glad that Fodlicus was able to take advantage of that, and you have to keep doing that before the Yone starts to come online.
That was so important. Now taking a look at the rest of the top side is feeling a little bit more than Worm is actually going to be for a chance at a game over the wall. But that is going to be you do not have flash, double knock up there, and now you're right back. You're able.
Kova wants to keep going. Doesn't have the ult available, but Dash Zero, he's got the flash. He gets in. Not again.
No. That is pain. Dash is having a great time right now. It's like Signature versus Signature. I'm currently.
I can't believe, but that's the second time Orbital somebody's tried to dive Dash Zero under that turret, and this time Dash Zero didn't burn flash. Just stood there knowing that Senator Kova was not going to be able to make it all the way through. And this Renekton, Dash Zero is picking up a lot of gold. Now he's got to pick up the responsibility that comes with that gold and start transferring it elsewhere as well.
What a time to be here. I mean, it was so good to watch that my internet decided to just freak out. Like, they wrecked me on this side. That was so much fun to watch. And now taking a look at the rest, you're watching Jax is pissed off. That is some anger to bring up. Jimmy Jam, just like, we got to shove this in. I'm so done with losing in this situation. And now they're going to try and invade into that jungle side. Fodlicus saying a little bit of a dangerous scenario here. And Kova finally winning in some HP differences.
Yeah, Fodlicus has to be careful of the dive. Poopy Worm sees everybody collapsing in. We've seen enough of these Maokai behind the turret dives. And with a Jax, with a Yone, they have enough burst damage.
They do, but they don't want to take that chance. However, with Xander, that might be a difference. Coat has to play smart.
Goodness.
They're going to roam around. They're going to continue to deny the camps. And this is straight up bullying. And this is also just forcing, I think. They drop the Herald. They get 2 plates. And that's all they get. That's straight up TMU where like nothing else is working. We're just going to straight up go through the front door.
So when you're ahead, like Tamu was last game, these sort of plays work really, really well. But when you're not, the mid lane play actually eats up a lot of people's time. Jax, this is a little bit. Oh, they catch Fodlicus.
That should be enough. The last time that Kova died, the reason is because they missed the Qs. When you're tethered and rooted, I mean, you got the Qs.
Yeah, can't miss those. Good collapses.
If you do, it's just my solo queue games now. True story, by the way. It was a painful time. I don't want to live through it again.
Getting the PTSD from that. Well, thankfully for you, Orbital, we don't have to worry about your solo queue games right now because the gank did go off successfully. I'm more worried about what happened before that gank because the gank is sufficient, right? Like jungle goes in, gets kill. But before that, they rotated Xander up and Jax down, and that yielded nothing, and that actually cost Coat a lot of lane pressure. Poopy Worm now sneaking in there. Did he get spotted?
Oh no, he wasn't, and because of that, that's a great move here. Coach should die. I say should because it's a very difficult way to end it, but Worm is able to grab one, and Yoon Jia finds the other, but at least Ryu is able to get a little bit of tower plating.
The cleanse, unfortunately, coming out a little bit early on the first stun, but not enough to actually get you out of way of, or enough space for you to escape away from the curse of the sad mummy. So the CC still comes through, and overall, this is what we're talking about in game 1. If UCSC didn't have that bad level 1, this is what they're capable of. They have a lead. They are playing the early game well. And hey, with the ultimates unlocked as well, I expect to continue seeing them find these sort of picks, be proactive out of lanes.
Hopefully we get to see it even more so for this composition. It's starting to be a menace. And with 20 seconds left on that Drake, you can put a lot of pressure onto your opponent. Now remember, game number 1 was a Hextech Dragon, which allowed for a lot of those silly teleports to come in here. I wonder what we're going to get here. Right now, UCSC, though, prepped themselves with the wards around to at least contest around the riverside. A ward dropped by Eric Xander should at least see a little bit of an invade, but by no means are they willing to fully challenge it. I say that while Jimmy Jam is getting ready to go over the wall and started off the rip. Okay.
This is dangerous. This is really dangerous with Tamu. This early in the game, Dragons actually kind of hurt if you can stop the team from focusing them. But UCSC don't even collapse. I'm surprised. With an Ashe, with the Ziggs, you can make Tamu's life hell trying to pick up that Dragon. But I guess the early shove was sufficient, and UCSC, they're not willing to fully commit to this. Poopy Worm just decided, nah, I'm going top, guys. I can't get there in time.
I'm just surprised you weren't actually looking for that dragon to start with, right? And the reason that it did start, by the way, Jax actually spotted out Worm, so they knew where the jungler was. However, now that's going to try and be answered on the backside. Full dive on the bot side while a fight is happening out on the top side. Bomb from long range isn't going to get the kill, but it's enough to cause some damage. Kova looking to be a little bit more dangerous as well, but Kinryu getting up in their face with all that aggression. No one dies, and honestly, Tim, you expend a lot for what could be a massive loss in the top lane. Jax now under tower. Gonna get a little bit of TP help. Worm, though, dropping the curse inside Mummy just to try and fight. Kova gets a knock-up of one. Jax is about to get away, but no, you do fall into 1-for-1 trade. Gold went back to Kova, but Dash Zero still coming out on top 3-0-1.
With that Gore Drinker as well, I don't know if Senator Koba wants to go in. Senator Koba has not picked up his Mythic just yet, so you go in against a Gore Drinker Renekton, and things could go south real quick. Likas is going to take the turret.
I mean, you can't really do too much, and now Jimmy Jam is actually in a little bit of a worrying sort. Remember, the actual damage that comes out of his Ziggs is very surprising at points, I would say, especially if you're sitting on top. And when you go Ludens as well, Jimmy Jam is just like, bruh, really? That's annoying. So, well done to get the tower. UCSC grab the first tower and get all the extra plates as well.
And that infusion of gold has widened the lead. We're looking at about a 1k gold lead before this. Now it's almost 2,500 for UCSC. And with Fodlikas taking the mid lane turret as well, one of the hardest turrets to take, you've unlocked the Ziggs to begin sieging up the other lanes, and I want to see this Ziggs Ashe combo start working together. The poke they can put out is disgusting, and the single target pick potential is really, really strong as well.
Hopefully they can start utilizing that a bit more, but they don't have to. They're happy. They're content with the current situation. Dash Zero, though, not content. Remember, this is about the same score that they had last game. It's like deja vu all over again. And I'm kind of curious if they continue and just be menaces to each other back and forth. That would actually be really fun. Taking a look
Dash
here, though.
hit 3-0 and 1 at some point last game?
Yeah, oh yeah. They were pretty dang far ahead, I think. Like they were
the Fiora that got killed at level 1 and permacapped?
No. Opposite direction. I was saying
Jax
Jax was hella fed at that point. Now, though, we're getting some retribution. Remember, there is no flash, but too far extended. Can't follow up behind it. Instead, Kova is going to try their best to get some damage. Worm, though, saying I want a chance once again.
It's funny overall, because I would have thought that, the conclusion I could draw from that would be that, red side OP in top lane, counter pick OP top lane. But let's not forget, Dash Zero blinded this Renekton.
Right.
And it's working. It's actually working. It's the man who calls himself Jax of Trades, who got his signature champion into a good matchup. Props to Dash Zero, man.
Now, what was it actually Dash Zero that came out with that dub, or was it Jax just getting a little bit too ballsy?
Hey, I mean, he did it to two different people. Senator Koba died under the turret too. Just saying.
All right, well, taking a look here. That is going to be advantage into an arrow, into everything. Cleanse comes out of Cope, but Xander's got none. That'll be a kill drop. Now a flash in. Everyone's joining in this bot side. Well. A quick cleanse ensures that Kova will die, and things are turning for the worst. TAMU wondering what the heck just happened, and UCSC said, we'll stat stick you right back. A bloody 3-0 on the bot side grants an extended 4K lead to UCSC.
And they can keep pushing with the Ashe. Do they have enough damage between Ashe and Ziggs to kind of chunk this turret?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not. The minions are thinning really fast.
Oh, okay. You know what? If Jimmy Jam wasn't there and Xander wasn't there, they would have. That would 100% been another tower. Right now, just a little bit of a tether, but that's a flash forward. That was Kinryu trying to help out. However, this is going to be a little bit of a problem. Take a look at the shields that came out. Tim, you can't cut through those shields.
Yeah, and Colt, unfortunately, when you pick this Caitlyn, you pick it to dominate the lane. We've started hitting that power trough for Caitlyn, where she just doesn't hit quite as hard as somebody with a Kraken Slayer, for example. Stormrazor, again, great for poke, great for extended sort of laning situations, but not enough to actually secure the kill on anyone. And now the shoes on the other foot. It's not just the top lane anymore, Orbital. It feels like the entire game is game one over again with red side getting a massive lead.
Well, keep in mind as well, yes, they were in the lead, but it was also TAMU's willingness to go for these harsh plays, right? Willing to kind of step up and smother any sort of chance that UCSC could come back. I want to see UCSC do the same. They have a composition that can do it, I would say, even better if you're well coordinated. You got that Curse of the Sad Mummy, you tether everyone up, and then you just roll through them, right? I want to see the likes of this squad, UCSC. I want to see the slugs just roll over the opponent, and that starts here with the dragon. You can see it here. This is going to be a third dragon for TAMU if they're able to get it, and if they are able to secure, that would honestly be a big step back into this game.
This time, surely UCSC will contest, right? They've got viewer.
That's gonna be a Curse of the Sad Mummy, only landing on one, but the bomb is enough. That's just destruction. No more tree. And Dragon is handed over. Well done. Just 2 ults. And Dragon is secure.
Here I was thinking, Ash Ziggs, they can make your life hell if they're even on an objective. But in their head, they just send you straight down. Jim Jam had no chance whatsoever. The burst damage is coming through. And Jim Jam's not building Tank Maokai. It's not the Radiant Virtue. It's a flat-out Demonic Embrace. He's AP at this point.
Oh, now a trade on the bot side, though. Odlicus starting to feel the burn. Kova was able to pick up a couple significant kills on the top side, so this mid lane matchup is not exactly as nice as Spodlicus would like. But at the same time, you can see the bombs really doing some work here. Dash 0, though, clearing out the wave, and still granted a lot of time. So taking a look, UCSC pretty much have everything in their hands. What's the next step, right? Because we do have Baron in about a minute, and TAMU took it off rip. Do you think UCSC can do the same?
Ooh, that's a little bit sketchy because their comp is really good at poking down people on an objective. It's good at poking people around objectives. It falls apart when you're stuck into a very narrow area where TAMU can just power on the AoE. So they have to be a little bit careful about that. Dash 0 doesn't know. Now he does.
Got a little bit of heal came from the brush, and they're like, no, we don't want to. However, the stuns are coming out here. Jax has to get over the wall, and you are safe. So at least a little bit of teamwork is going to keep them alive. But we're taking a look here. Jimmy Jam is another one that we're sitting there going, man, we really want to see this Maokai come online and have a little bit of value. Remember, it was banned in game number 1. And this time in game number 2 is being sufficiently shut down as well.
Yeah, and a lot of that coming off of UCSC just having a much better time of their laning, which then enables Poopy Worm to pick up some of these kills, keep down Jimmy Jam. Now, you asked me what UCSC should do. I don't think they can take Baron on spawn, but I do think they should be applying pressure around it. They can look for that top lane. That is the last standing outer turret. And for Jacks of Trades, this is not a safe turret to be under, especially if you're getting collapsed around, which is why I'm happy Xander's putting vision around it to prevent that eventual collapse. But UCSC, they can just brute force there. And as long as TAMU doesn't have equal numbers, that turret is not safe.
Not at all. Kinryu is getting ready, and that's just going to be a take.
Go.
Well done. Flash for flash. At least you have your life. A good jump away. The arrow's going to land, and the counter-strike is up for the moment. Now a stun link is there. They're going to try and fight under the tower, and it is going to be enough. A quick little snap of the kill, and it's going to be done. Teleport in the back, though. I'm not sure this is where Kova and Jimmy Jam want to be. Out goes a little bit of a world, and they're going to get the damage, though. Take a look at the HP bars. This is a problem. That's going to be a great encore to get them all locked up. What is this turnaround? The fight's coming out. Look at the damage. It's unreal. Kinryu finally falls to Kova. But honestly, a 4 for 3 for TAMU Maroon. What a moment. That is better than I thought would happen. Jimmy Jam's looking for the last Yordle, but, I mean, Ziggs is gone. Ziggs is out.
And look who got the shutdown, Orbital. Senator Kova, the Yone we were talking about that can turn the tides. That's a scary thought for UCSC, that they've just given that much gold over. The gold lead, however, still favors UCSC. And if they play carefully, they'll be fine. The problem is they can't let themselves get caught like that. Another position, trying to overextend, trying to accelerate the pace. If they want to play like TAMU did last game, they've got to play a little bit cleaner.
You get one mistake, maybe two, if you do it very, very nicely. However, that's going to be an arrow across the board. Jimmy Jam is going to go in and try and knock him away, and is able to survive. That's a flash forward, though. Worm wants to go for this. The ult is not up just yet, and because of that, the slows are there. I'm not sure if this is exactly what you want. Kova gets back over the wall, but Dash is ready to go. Good stun. Flash is out, but, I mean, the Twisted Advance is going to be enough. The Vines keep them all at bay. Take a look at how much was expended for that, though. That was so much used to try and get more kills. And honestly, the fact that TAMU Maroon are allowed to live is crazy in its own right.
I love the fact overall that like so much was expended to secure some kills. I don't know which team you're talking about because Tamu was still looking for kills as well. Initially, they were the ones chasing in to make that happen. UCSC though have fallen back onto Baron, and critically, Tamu didn't have vision. They have TP on Jax of Trades. They could have stopped it if they knew about it, but they've lost sight of the major objective in the heat of the moment.
I think that's okay though, right? Like you try to get the towers, you were able to gather a few, and you allow a lot of pushing from Jax. At this current, I love that redirect by the way. That's so much fun. It's one of the wonkier ones that you also see if it's flying in the air at the time, right? And you just see the hard, sharp curve. There is a YouTube video, a very funny one, of the ace in the hole getting redirected straight down a lane and clipping someone and just killing them on the spot, and everyone's just like, what? But anyways, I digress. Funny situations. However, mid lane is not a funny situation at all. That's going to be a jump in, and Worm is currently alone. I don't know if this is worth your life. A support for a jungler when Dragon's coming up. TMU going, okay, it's not the worst situation to be in.
I almost want to say it's worth almost, because killing Seraphine at an objective is massive. That's a lot of sustain taken off the table. But nothing beats a smite. So
yeah,
yeah. At worst, unless UCSC can find another pick here or shove out the members of Tamu, they're trying, right? They're trying to retain that zone control. But I love what Tamu's doing. They're saying, okay, if you want to control that dragon, by all means go ahead. Poopy Worm still dead for 10 seconds. We'll just straight up push your lane, and Jax of Trades is doing what Jaxes do best: split pushing.
I mean, the bomb came up, and I think it's going to be enough to shove him off. So Dragon is going to be started up by one side. Worm is now alive, but it's going to take about 15 seconds to get there. Unless you take those Hextech gates. Right now, though, 3 currently split. Take a look off on the side. Kova down on the bot side. This could be a flank of flanks. That's going to be the roots coming out here. And this could be big, but they push down to the bot side. So well played from UCSC to divert that fight. But that's the smite. That is the grab. You're on soul point. Now the fight breaks out. Now you're going to try and chance it up. Worm looking for it, but the taunt comes out. The charm was enough, and because of that, you delayed. You got the dragon, and you only lose one. And I mean, Baron's still in UCSC's pocket, but honestly, Tamu get away with just a couple scratches.
And look at the lane states, Orbital. Because of the setup before from Tamu, mid lane was shoved all the way in. Okay, unfortunately it does get cleared out and gets cut, so the push is coming. But the idea was good, and UCSC aren't going to be able to maximize the Baron. They get 1 minute Baron, and that's it. You got the kill. Good for you. Tamu got soul point. They are more than happy for that trade. And once again, Jax of Trades was picking up CS, was pushing lanes, was getting turrets the entire time.
Oh. That is the Ziggs of my dreams right there. Ziggs is having a great time. A lot of bombs, a lot of damage coming out here, and Xander might not want to be on that side of the map. We are flicking between the two because right now it's a big battle, and mid, not so fun on the bot side. At this point, it is starting to seem like Jax is getting the better of the trade, so we really have to keep watch for the rest of the time. Mid lane currently being pushed up, about 30 seconds left on this Baron, so the wave is going to be a very, very big one. Good knock-up. Worm not allowed to stay there. Range is extended, but UCSC trying to siege as best they can.
Jax, okay, this is what I expected the Jax Renekton matchup to be, but not at this stage. Jax of Trades was down 2 levels, 30 CS, and I don't know, items wise, like half an item, a full item down from Dash 0, and is still winning that 1v1. That is kind of disgusting. Jax of Trades is also getting collapsed on.
I think they're going to get the recall out, and also I want to say they traded out their boots. I think Jax got tired of all the stuns coming out here. I don't think it was their first boots choice. So finally got the Merc Treads, and they're going to be happy about that situation. But there it is. The Hole Breaker is in. That does mean that TMU have locked in their strategy. Keep that in mind. We are going to see that split push Jax forever. If they ever group up, that means things are seriously bad for TMU.
Well, or they need to fight for a major objective. Because Orbital, 2.5 minutes, Baron's coming up, and split push is good. Hull Breaker is good. It is not as good as a Baron buff. 26 minutes in. Tamu still down about 4k gold, but keep in mind, they've actually stabilized the gold deficit, right? Like, sure, it's not ideal, but it also hasn't grown in favor of UCSC in the last, what, 5? 10? Well, let's say 5 minutes. I think 10 they had their major lead. So for UCSC, a lot of that early pressure, the advantages they had, is starting to get nullified. They are still very, very strong, but you can no longer kind of just slap Tamu around with your wallets anymore. You actually do need proper setup. You need proper poke from Ziggs and Ashe before you hard commit to the fight, and more importantly, you need to make sure you see flanks coming from Kova, from Jax of Trades.
I'd also like to point out that we are seeing some nasty rings on the side of UCSC. Go ahead and see the stacks flowing in. But besides the point, okay, Moonwalk Cannon, that's interesting to watch. That was fun. Taking a look here, I love the fact that you pointed out that the poke has to come down, because now we get to see this long-range artillery. That's going to be a bomb coming out, and Cleanse is up, but you don't have to use it. You are still alive, but however, you got slowed. That's going to be a flash forward. A couple more hits.
It's
Bonk
big!
goes out, but it doesn't land. Kinyu Ryu is going to try their best, but the knockup is there. You trade your life once again for a support, and it's a question mark all the way around. That's Zero trying to get in the back line, is able to get it. Dash Zero wins it out, and now Jax and Trace is gonna get bumped back. They are getting pushed around all the way through, and the curses has to add money to slow them down. But Kova goes straight in the back line, almost gets more, not able to find it. Well done by UCSC to divert those threats. They win the battle 4-2, and are now gonna push for the end.
Not gonna lie, Orbital, I thought it was done for UCSC. When the pick didn't happen onto Colt, when Kova found the flank, I thought Tamu was gonna reverse it, but Dash Zero, all the gold that was pumped into him early is paying dividends now. Xander back up 10 seconds for Colt, but can they stop this push? Food Lacus is wrecking turrets.
I think they can. The HP bars are a little bit too low. And I think they have to run. Oh, Dash got caught. Dash got caught. And the worst thing as well, that's going to be Dragon. Keep that one in mind. Oh my god. A single bomb. A single bomb. The shield comes out. They're still running. Eric has to stay alive, and Eric is able to survive. But my gosh, Fodlacus just saying, bruh, you can't keep stepping up like that. Brutal showing as Baron will spawn right now.
I mean, a heart attack here watching that Orbital. That is down to the margins. Heck, the minions were about to finish off Xander if not for the shield. And UCSC, they're undeterred. Poopy Worm was flanking the entire time, watching for a good angle. Couldn't find it. Never mind. We go straight for Baron. But what are they trading the Baron for? That's a Hex Tech Soul Tamu is staring down.
So this is my big question. One of the things that TMU Maroon are having trouble with is actually securing those kills and chasing them down. We saw how well Dash Zero could run away. If you get the soul, you have so much stopping power. You have the ability to kind of solo them out. But that's going to be the stun. You found it again on the support.
Xander's dead!
9,999. That is so true. And now Crystal Sad money follow up. They tried. TMU tried to set themselves up for a dub, but it's not going to happen. In goes the crocodile. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Your tree is gone. Jax will get burned. Sometimes you really do need a real weapon. 4 dead in a flash, as Coat is the last one alive, and there ain't nothing that a Caitlyn can do in the face of these villains pushing down mid.
Double super minions in this mid wave because of the stack. Baron as well wearing the royal purple, and Colt can't even wave clear through it, much less stop the charging champions. Orbital, we have ourselves a game 3. Because that's not a champion that wants to accelerate the game. Soraka's a champion that wants to go late. So that bot lane, which could have been a lane that you win out and play from, has now become the insurance lane instead. I don't think we're going to get to see them accelerate the pace from that bot lane. So we want to see that heavy trading. It's going to come from the top side from Tama.
Well, we already see a little bit of a shake-up here. UCSC giving a taste of TMU's own medicine. Invading here, trying to get some information. But no information actually granted back. Take a look at the difference here. Completely dark on the flip side. So TMU not able to use that information to decent effect. But Kinyu Ryu happy about that one stack I believe they were able to gather.
Hey, a stack's a stack, and that is not a fast center. So those stacks don't come all that easily. For the information that UCSC got on the invade, they didn't actually drop any wards behind. So they won't know for sure which side Jimmy Jam is starting on. And that's a little bit surprising. It feels like that was more of a brute force. Like, hey, we want an early kill. We want to coin flip this. Instead, Tamu's the one who actually gets deep ward on the red buff for UCSC. So Tamu, it's kind of weird. Like, I kind of expected the flip where Tamu's the one like trying to force plays early. But instead, the other one's like with the vision and will be able to play a bit more strategically instead.
Well, for right now, we already see Fodlacus stepping up to the plate. And also, I would like to point out, Fodlacus has never been, I want to say, on the proactive end, or not been allowed to, I think is the best way to put it. So this time, really trying to use that Vladimir to a very, very strong extent. We'll have to keep check on there as well. Both junglers also opting for a pretty quiet start here. A couple camp difference for the Bel'Veth, but in terms of the Graves, dancing very nicely to the start.
Ooh, Kinyu taking a lot of poke from Xander right now. Xander's landing all the Qs, and mid lane, Senator Cove isn't. Worth noting, Senator Cove started Sapphire Crystal, so you're not getting the combat stats from Duran's Ring. You were kind of saying that, oh, Vladimir's weak early. Well, kind of yes, but the way Lucas is playing it, kind of no.
At the same time, I would also like to point out, just for fun's sake, Jax and Dash in games 1 and 2 were the ones that basically had free fun over their HP bars dropping. This time around, it's mid and bot side that are actually losing large portions of their HP. So I love that kind of change up here. Now, granted, of course, pretty much all the lanes have some sort of sustain. You have the potions and all, but it's just funny to see, I think.
Yeah, and for the bot lane especially, I feel like low health is a bait.
Yeah.
They've got heals, they've got shields, they've got ways of sustaining through. The mid lane, though, is the one where if they get low, I am a bit interested in seeing if these ganks can come through. Syndra is a bit more of a less mobile mid laner, right? She doesn't have any escapes, so if she does push up, she's vulnerable. Fault Lucas, on the other hand, much harder to gank. Between the pool, the ghost, and the flash, unless you can kind of one-shot him or like just go in one full rotation, I don't think Jimmy and Senator Cobra are going to be able to find anything that mid lane easily. They have to burn the pool first.
That's an ask that we'll see how they deal with that current situation later on. Right now, though, both junglers finally completing up their routes and actually going to meet on this bottom side. And right now, actually, Worm decided to recall. So it's behind I want to say a 15-second gap, and because of that, you actually lose out on that scuttle, which should be identified. You should already know about that. You're going to rotate back for some of your early camps to try and hit level 6 as soon as possible. And instead, Jimmy Jam is actually going to look for a chance here. Going to be the slows. Good little smoke screen going down. Great shield out of Yoon Jia to negate a lot of that extra damage.
Yeah, and great position from Kinuryu as well to make sure that there was somewhere for Yunjia to jump away when the lockdown started happening on the Braum. And the Ashe is good. We're seeing the Ashe, get some poke, but in these short trades, it's not quite enough. You need the longer lane to be able to run people down for kills.
Oh, wow. Coat really trying to lay down the damage once again. Xander willing to step up, and as you said, those low HP bars, but those low HP bars are that bait, but I love the fact that we are still seeing them aggressive time and time again. Now taking a look, this top side is now going to be challenged as the junglers will actually meet between the two. That's the first recall for Jimmy Jam, but top side Jax losing out on that trade. Now they are going to meet. Worm has to run under the tower and might not be in a great spot. A great clip by that Q is going to give value back over. Now Kova in the mid lane is going to try and dance their best. This extra mana is able to allow for a bit more sustain, but the TP was already used and the lost chapter is back in their pocket. So a lot of things happening all at once as teams are trying to judge each other on how much can they push, how much can they get away with in this early game.
And huge props to Dash Zero. That topside dive was set up by Dash Zero. You look at the CS and it looks kind of even between Jax of Trades and Dash Zero, but Dash was stacking the wave in his favor at that time. That was what was setting up the dive. So the fact that he can do that is a good sign. If he can continue to do that, it makes it so much easier to set up ganks. Oh, Cole got stunned.
Oh, Coat, you walked up thinking that you're safe, and I think this might be a kill. You do have to flash away, and Kino Ryu is fine, and because Xander does have flash and heal, you're okay. But man, Coat, you tried to get a bit greedy, and you actually lost out on both summoner spells.
Getting flashbacks last game when we saw
just a wee bit.
turrets. Yeah, like that's both summoners down. Oh, Poopy Worm has snuck into the bush. Jax of Trades doesn't know.
Oh, this could be the bait. Dash is trying to bait it. They have been dueling out a little bit, and when level 6 is hit, you know Jax of Trades wants to go in. That's going to be a slap. Ooh, good little clip. How? Jax smells something's up. Definitely smells like, hey, someone's in the bush, or just might be hanging around on the backside. Well spotted. I don't care what anyone says. Jax, with the sixth sense, diverts a possible first blood situation.
I was so worried when Jax had to use the hook shot to get out to safety, but yeah, you're right. Like Jax knew something was wrong, right? Like didn't step up, kind of took his time, kept waiting and baiting Dash to come in, even at the expense of some of these poorer trades are missing a little bit of CS as well. Now the problem is, even without the jungler, Jax of Trades is not winning these trades right now. So Dash doesn't need Poopy Worm. Poopy Worm is just being opportunistic in that gap.
And for right now, I mean, as you said, this situation occurring, UCSC are currently okay with it. Not just that, Dragon is currently up, and it is taken at 650. So TMU Maroon, once again, getting the start on the Dragon. Keep in mind, game 1, they flew through those Dragons like butter. Number 2, game 2, they were able to grab 2 at the start. We're not able to convert afterwards. So that is something that we really do want to keep track of and see if they can, again, get control over this global objective, especially since with no kills down, those global objectives are actually very important.
Yeah. And I'm very mixed feelings about not seeing any of these kills go down at 7 minutes. So far, Jimmy Jam hasn't really tried to gank because he hasn't had the opportunity to. But getting these early objectives is really solid as well. And I kind of hope that Tamu is able to get kills if they want to keep getting the lead, because I feel like the objectives alone aren't enough. UCSC scaling will outscale even a Soul at the end of the game. If the game goes long enough. And I kind of hope it doesn't, because it's getting late, Orbital. And a 50-minute game was not in my bingo cards for tonight.
Oh, it was in mine. I think I had like a 70-minute. It's in the top right corner, though, and nothing else is around it, so there ain't no way I'm getting bingo anytime soon. Kova, though, on the bingo card, is keeping Fodlicus low. And remember, we did say we want to see them get some pain, and that's going to be a hit. Both mid laners trading ults, and in that situation, honestly, Kova came out thankful that they didn't die. Now on the top side, though, this is the call. World Ender coming in, and that's a massive shot. Great gank coming out of Jimmy Jam. It might not be the quantity, but the quality is A1.
Hey, they got a kill. That's all Tamu wanted, right? And Jim Jams is the one who's able to pick that one up. Jackson Trades will still be fine with that because TP is not available for Dash 0, so that will be at least one wave loss. But we are now looking to try and gank bot. Xander's still not sick, so only has the summoner heal.
Well, I mean, it's also spotted out here, so this is Coat and Xander wondering if they should stay or if they should walk away or try and pinch on the farther side. Worm, I think, was actually pushed off of both camps, so hey, big dub there for that side. TMU Maroon making sure that Jimmy Jam is allowed to keep their side of the jungle. Not just that, Jimmy Jam actually took that time to go for the Rift Herald, and as we said, these global objectives in games where you do not have a lot of kills, yes, it might not be optimal, you might want the kills more, but at least you're getting something, right? At least you're gathering some sort of objective claim for your team.
Yeah, and again, Poopy Worm, it's okay to not be on point for all these early objectives. You're the one kind of looking to scale. Xander canceling the base. Wish is now available, so this bot lane dive is a bit dicey. It's not impossible. There is a lot of burst damage to come through, but you have to be careful. And Junja has been doing a great job landing those Braum Qs on both Colt and Xander so far. I feel like every time I've seen it tossed out, it's landing. I think he's putting out more poke than Xander is, which is kind of insane when you think it's a range versus melee matchup.
I think the other side is how quickly you can actually proc it. Like, you take a look at the lane matchup, the Braum and the Senna, you're like, maybe it could provide that poke. How quickly you proc those stuns and the damage is crazy. Like, it will surprise you. So really watching that one, I want to see how it goes. However, this is going to be Jackson Trades actually finding a mode of weakness. Dash didn't have any Qs, but look at the auto attack trade patterns. That is just from auto attacks. Dash is like, hey, eat that one.
Yeah, and it looks good for Jack of Trades, but what we've got to remember as well, Orbital, is the Conqueror stacking from Dash. So Jack of Trades is treading a fine line where he wants to maximize his damage output, and the immediate burst that can come out from an Aatrox can be quite shocking. But you also can't overstay your welcome, lest the Conqueror starts proccing, and then he starts healing, and you start losing that trade.
Well, this might be the bait. Dash is able to bait it out. Flash knockup there. And I think that's going to be the Hextech ultimatum. Hey, look what's coming out from the side. Junglers are meeting, and it will be the kill coming out. What a flash coming out. Dash is allowed to live. What a moment. But that's going to be the arrow landing. Jimmy Jam trying to get in. However, the World Ender is still alive. I don't think Jimmy Jam wants this one. Now in the mid lane, Kova might get dove here. Fodlicus does have that die, but a good stun against the wall will deny that initial fight. What a play. UCSC using everything in the artillery to get Dash back in this one.
Game 1 overall, when all hope was lost for UCSC, we still said they had hands. And here in Game 3, we are seeing those hands, the micro mechanics which are allowing them to do this. Now, Senator Koba did a great job in the mid lane, deterring that dive. Really well played Scatter the Weaks. And if you can continue doing that, then maybe you can offset a little bit of the pressure that Jaxo Trades is suffering topside.
Not just that, I mean, you could see Senator Kova actually going in for that Unleashed Power. Thankfully, Fodlicus did have that pool available, but it's looking dangerous. Now bot side as well, Coat and Xander are starting to be able to sustain through a lot of this early aggression. That poke coming down from Xander is going to be punishing. With a lot of items also being finished, I do expect to see some sort of heal cut come out, at least on one player. With that Leandri's, I would expect Kova to grab it, but we'll see what truly happens. Wall and shields going up as both teams are still vying for a chance to get a big pressure mount on this upcoming Drake.
And as you're speaking of that Drake Orbital, it freshly spawned pretty much, and right on time, Tamu's there cutting through it like butter, as you called UCSC. You've got vision on it, but I don't think you can actually contest it. Yunja would probably die if he showed up.
It's also Cloud, right? It's not the worst one to give over, so you're like, okay, it's a little bit of move speed, I understand. Mountain Dragon, though, this is one that I think will be so nice if you're looking at the side of UCSC. Not only do they have the same, but they get the innate armor and MR that you want. Like, that is so nice for sustained battles. Right now, Worm, though, trying to good step away. Kova like, nah, we ain't dealing with this one today. What as I said, now flash forward and dashes away from the scout of the week.
That's a kill.
That's gonna be the finisher. Fod Laka says thank you very much. A kill in our pocket.
That's the kill. That's the comfort. Now they're going for a dash. Jimothy's up there.
I think they are able to get it, but look at the lifesteal. Keep eyes on that one. Look how much the wish comes in to try and sustain through the top side, and a knock against the wall. Thankfully for collateral damage, you're able to finish it off. But man, was that a bit too close for comfort.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to be able to get the kill with the way the healing, the damage was coming through from Dash. Thankfully, Gold Drinker not completed yet, or else truly, I think Aatrox would have been at least able to trade 1-for-1. I'm more worried for Tamu, though, about the mid lane dive. That's comfort from Vodlikas right there. He knew exactly how much damage he could do. And you could see in his eyes, like, okay, I can kill Senator Kova. We are diving this. There was zero hesitation, and Poopy Worm followed along. He can do that consistently on this Syndra, pardon me. I'm not sure there's any point in this game where I'm going to be looking at Senator Kova going, oh, you're not diveable anymore.
That's going to be a chance. However, a flash coming out of Yoonji, the one that we were also kind of watching for. And keep in mind, they did go for those steel-plated boot caps, saying, hey, we don't want to take that auto attack damage. In the meantime, that actually does mean that there's going to be a challenge on the opposite side, because now you get the cleanse coming out of Kiniryu, who tries to survive a fight in the mid lane, though. Remember, this is one that you were talking about. Fod Laka's having a great old time. Another sun comes out, and just the finisher. It's easy, light work. UCSC starting to press their advantages, with Tamu Maroon trying to do the same on the bot lane.
Do you see how much damage the Syndra ult did to Vladimir?
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw how little damage it did. Like, yeah. That's a problem.
What damage? Oh, Code. Okay, thank God the heals are there. I keep forgetting. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about me.
Oh, but top lane might be in trouble as a massive flank from UCSC is happening right now.
I think Jax should be... Nope, never mind. They don't have flash. Keep that in mind. This is going to be a tower dive. Yeah. Look at the juggling coming out, and no ult as well to stay alive. That's just a kill. This is brutality at its best. Oh, my lord. Worm lives by a worm's width.
If Worm died, Poopy Worm deserved it. Like, Vodlikas had that on lock with the Hemoflake second tick. And he went diving in to secure it. So, you know what? Poopy Worm takes the risks, gets the payoff. But Orbital, UCSC is starting to turn on the pressure. Vodlikas is starting to come online. Proto Belt just got completed as well. And I'm certain Jimothy wasn't able to pull off the bot lane gank that he liked with that lethality build. And if you're not popping up early with lethality, things go from bad to worse once you hit that mid game.
Oh man, and Kova really wants the tower, but is not able to complete it. Bot side should be able to fall, but these are almost consolation prizes. As you said, these situations that are occurring, UCSC are starting to pick themselves up here. Cope now getting chance on bot side, and this is one that you do not win. You're trying to output the damage. Arrow land, and a follow through. Jimmy Jam says, hey, I can help out. Gets another shot off, has to reload. And look at the healing coming out, by the way. That is ridiculous. Kova in the mid lane has to save off another possible fight. But honestly, all the kills being funneled into Jimmy Jam, whether by force or not, I mean, this is making the rest of the sides weaker, right? The rest of the team having some trouble laying the damage down. Yeah, and it's kind of a catch-22 because now Jimmy Jam needs to be everywhere to spread that goal, but he can't. And unfortunately, UCSC is doing a great job collapsing in and just punishing all these side lanes. Even look at the mid lane. Noon just saving that turret as best he can. That's a support into a mid lane and not even feeling afraid. Oh man, Jax not allowed to do anything. That was a flash Q coming out of Worm, trying to lay down the last few fragments of damage. But now Jimmy Jam is ready to go with the Herald being dropped top side. Dragon should be coming up in about 40 seconds, and they're able to survive. Now Jax is looking for a chance back, but this is damage control coming out of this Maroon squad. That's 3 people to stop a 2-man push. Tamu needs a numbers advantage right now. Good for them. They did stop the Herald, and that is very, very important. But like we said in every single game before this Orbital, it feels like whichever top laner is winning often snowballs the game. That is probably the best indicator of how these games are going to go. And now Dash Zero has been unlocked into the rest of the Rift. I would say the same about Fod Lacus. The mid lane tower did fall against them, but you do have this the same. Proto Belt is made. We do go ahead and see that Grievous Wounds coming out in the orb on Kova,
nice.
but it's the only one. Keep that in mind. It's only one. Dragon currently spawned on the map. Everyone kind of flooding their way in. TP coming up for Dash Zero in just a little bit. But the rest of TMU Maroon currently here already. Watching this fight break out, it's going to be the slows, it's going to be the Qs. Ryu, though, taking quite low, and now back to the back line. Arrow lands as well onto the Braum. Those are two big target items. Take it away, and that's what it is. But look at the Vlad. Vlad trying to get in the middle. Warm is quite low. That's a scout of the week. Catches them all, and into the Unleashed Power. You will not die today, but Dash Zero going to try and do cleanup. Look at the slows, look at the damage, look at the moves. That's going to be a final Q to take it, and now Dash Zero with the double kill, looking for it a little bit more, trying to turn around for the rest of the team. Dash turns it on Code. Code is dead, and the last two members do not have any heal cut. Dash Zero still in the World Ender vibe. It's going to do some work. Waiting for the knockouts, waiting for the damage. Gets another one. Jimmy Jam is down! Are you kidding me? Dash Zero is straight up annihilating. You are on an unofficial quadra kill and waiting for just a bit more. There comes a sight from downtown. Dash Zero ends it all. That is going to be 5 in a row for UCSC. Dash Zero single-handedly saves that fight.
Dash Zero on Aatrox. Ender of Worlds, Ender of Tamu. I can't believe he turned that fight, and it started so well. Tamu fought a 5v3 and lost. Orbital Dragon is still up, but I don't think Tamu wants round 2.
I don't think they even have a choice. You can see the poke, the fragments coming out here, and taking a look. I mean, the slows are there. Maybe they try and look for a little bit more behind, but they're quickly getting collapsed on. These are only 3. Keep that in mind. They're not the tanky members either. In comes Jimmy Jam, the one that has the most kills, 5, 1, and 2, going for that squishy build as well. Fod Lacus gets out with the Proto Belt, but I mean, UCSC, what a play, what a moment, what a move. You're back in just slight control and gold, but overall, way better for how it could have been.
I'm looking at Tamu right now, Orbital, and trying to figure out what's their angle back in, because this game has been so fast-paced. It felt like the moment the jungle started getting really involved, it sped up. Even though we've got less kills per minute than we did in game 1, and I can't remember what the kill score was in game 2, but it feels like game 2 had high kills too. And for Tamu, I'm looking at Jim Jam because that's where all the kills went, right? 5, 1, and 2, double lethality items, Ghostblade picked up, Collector picked up. And who are you actually trying to pop down? Because Kinuryu is the only really squishy one. Everybody else is just going to build armor, and that's why we're seeing so many plated steel caps come through. Literally everybody except Fodlicus is building armor, and Fodlicus doesn't care because you can't kill him when he's in Sanguine Pool. So Jimothy needs to kill somebody, but I don't know who he can actually find.
It's a big question for everyone, and with the wards going down, it does look like UCSC are also looking at this Baron. I mean, they do have the sustain. It's very, very easy. However, they're hoping for a bit more. Yeah, insta-cleanse coming out here. That was almost a Captain Jack, if I will. That was very, very quick right there. Shout out to Captain Jack, by the way. That was that's one that you don't see very often anymore. It makes me sad, but it is there. And right now, it is a giant question mark. No cleanse anymore. No arrow behind. That means Worm is going to look for that chance to get a stun on the Braum, but that leaves Kova very much alone. You don't have flash. You don't have anything, and you are pretty much dead. Dash comes in. A slam on the ground. This Aatrox is destructive. A final brittle shot from Yoon Jia secures their first kill of this game. 11-7 is the score as UCSC turn towards Baron.
You're just sniping people. He wants that role of AD carry, man. He's saying, Senna, own my drink. Fodlicus just kind of buying space, buying time. Jim Jam can look for the steal, almost has to look for the steal, but they have no vision. They have no wards.
I mean, you're going to try Jimmy Jam walking forward, and then over the wall. It was a bait. It was a bait. It was a masterful bait, because now there is no jungler. It is pretty much all UCSC as they're slowly tightening the reins on their horse. They're charging ahead in this race, and they are pulling ahead leg by leg.
It was a bait. It was a poison chalice, and they had no choice but to drink. Jim Jam, yeah, you could argue that why would you do that? You're going to die because you have no choice. You take that chance, even if it's a 10% chance, because right now the game is falling apart for you. UCSC is just starting to take over. I mean, they're so tanky. They're not dying anymore in these fights, and that's when you know you've hit the critical point. It's not like we're losing the fights. We are just straight up unable to even kill them in these fights.
And I again, that is going to persist time and time again. We are watching this game slip out of TMU's hands, and I mean, at this point, I don't even fault them for not having any real grievous wounds coming out. You only have one person currently holding it. I don't even think you have the time. You just need damage stacking, right? That's the thought process here. So, I mean, eyes are open, and honestly, huge props to UCSC as well. They are finding catch after catch after catch, using the collateral damage to just even try and get away. And Kova has to run. Look at that. The wish is going to do nothing. Guess who's in once again? Dasher on the back line sends them all to 0 ground. Look at the barrage. Look at this flurry of blows. Dash does not freaking care. Literally waltz through Coat's attacks and survives. Yes, it was a 2 for 2, but the main focus is the top and mid are alive.
And unfortunately, the moment Kova dropped there, the heal cut expired, and therefore Dash was able to survive way longer than he should have. The Trinity Force Kraken Slayer from Coat is doing damage. In fact, if not for the lack of heal cut, Dash probably would have been able to drop there. So Tamu's still got options, and I love the fact that, hey, if you're behind and you're trading equal numbers, that's a win as far as I'm concerned. Now, my only concern is you blew all the ultimates early. Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds, and that's the one you need to fight. UCSC has majority of their ultimates up for that one. And if they get a pick before that happens, that's a UCSC Dragon.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Let's see what they can do. Right now, UCSC went back and bought. They are all sitting pretty with about 2.5 items. And the thing about them is they're more than happy to buy those Grievous. You can see the swords as well as the Bramble coming out here. It feels bad, man. Right? It feels bad for TMU. Dragon going to be handed over, not even attempted by TMU Maroon. They're just going to try and farm up as best they can, get a bit more gold into Coat's pocket.
Yeah, and that's the right call, right? Having seen that last fight, not having all your ultimates necessarily available to make that happen, not having a turret to retreat from Kova. Oh, that's actually really good for Kova.
Oh, that Scryers. Scryers is a lifesaver, people. Please buy it once you hit level 9 for all that is good and holy. Like, that is your lifeline in these dark, dark times.
Ward save lives. And while all that was happening, Jax Betrayed's able to pick up the outer turret as well. Kind of just farming that one up. Now, UCSC, they're really tanky. They're really strong in team fighting. But one thing that we haven't seen them quite pull off yet is be able to actually siege turrets this early on. Senna does have a lot of range, so it's not like she can't. But the rest of the team is fairly short range, and they do have to be careful about getting picked.
Right now, it does seem okay. TMU Maroon once again playing very, very far back. Kova just trying to wave clear, but you can't. It's just too hard. Look at this. You are trying your best. Almost gets knocked up behind. That's just another tower brute force. If you can't really siege, go ahead and just stand in front of it. Don't even siege. Just say, we'll take it.
And good call from UCSC as well. They get to kind of brute force that bot side turret because of their rotations. There are wards in the jungle, but UCSC has cleared out the path they wanted to walk. So Tamu didn't see the full rotate coming through, and they didn't send the reinforcements. So Senator Kova was kind of left alone in a 1v4 situation. Sure, you can wave clear. Sure, you can look for the pick. But you don't have enough to actually kill anybody, and UCSC have a lot of bodies they're willing to throw at you to kill you and the turret.
Right now, it's all back to quiet. Baron up in a minute and a half. Dragon up in 3, not really that much of a worry considering the current state of things. I mean, if we actually get a soul, that'll be either, I think, a big mistake by UCSC to even allow the game to get to that state, or TMU just absolutely coming up with a miracle. So everyone just kind of trying to gather as much XP and gold that they possibly can here, making it for a little bit of a camp, right? Just silently camping out.
Yeah, the silence here is more because the teams aren't interacting. They still have things they need to do. And at this point in the game, a minute and a half before Baron, you need to be pushing out all the lanes best you can to set up optimal laning. And you need to start controlling vision. So UCSC, you can see they're setting up an ambush. They know where Jimmy Jam is. Jimmy Jam doesn't know.
Oh, that's... I can't even... I can't really fault them either. It's just like you're trying to do your thing, right? Like, you're trying to do what you need to, and it's just unfortunate that you ran into that one.
And look what they're doing as well, right? They just move up that ward line. They continue to encroach into Tamu's jungle. Actually, it's not even Tamu's jungle anymore. They just continue to encroach into the jungle because it's UCSC's jungle if they're there. And with that vision set up, they're going to be able to try and catch Tamu again moving towards that Baron, and TaMu have no choice. If you give up Baron, it's gonna feel like GG. 5k down with a team which their only struggle so far has been pushing. You give them Baron buff, they have no struggles.
I mean, taking a look here, though, Jax is trying to out-split push a fed Aatrox. I'm not sure if this actually works, but you saw the pings go down, and you are able to match right now. However, Inhibitor Tower has been broken.
Maybe not.
Recall, yeah, I was about to say, Recall's coming back through. This is going to be stopped. Jax is not going to be able to get that Inhibitor Tower, and it might actually pay for their life. You can see the jump over. Worm is dashing, and that's a perfect dash scenario. You are fine. That's going to be a little bit of a cleanse, and a little bit of jump back in. Worm just goes, thank you very much. I mean, you did what you could. You got a little extra gold back in your pocket, but now Baron is available, and one of your strongest members is, I mean, I'm not sure it's going to work out for you if you try and go for this Baron, TaMu.
No, 100% not. But what choice do they have, right? It's, once again, it feels like the Jim Jam, like, heroics at this point. Baron, steal, or bust. And this time, UCSC, they've got enough people that they don't have to send everybody into the pit. There are people physically blocking the way in.
All the doorways are blocked. I mean, the greatest one to hold the door is Braum. Baron is in the pocket of UCSC. All the pieces of the puzzle are here. Now all you have to do is assemble the masterpiece. UCSC, just a few moments away from taking the series.
Dragon, coming up in 40 seconds. UCSC, they can just push bot, push mid, go the 4-1 split, collapse back on Dragon whenever they're done pushing or whenever they just feel bored. Or maybe, heck, send Poopy Worm to solo that Dragon. Because in a 3v5 situation, if the 3 members of UCSC include Dash, Zero, and Faultless, I think they could actually win a 3v5.
You know what? I'm not even going to say I think. I know they can win a 3v5. Like, this squad is just... They are.
I still hold out hope for TaMu.
Yeah, all right. I'll let you do that one. Right now, though, we're going to see what could be the final team fight. You can see TaMu desperately clearing out this mid lane. Are they going to trade? I mean, I could see this, but they're going to try and force it. They're going to look at Dash. Dash getting away, though, and has the GA available. He is fine. And the tower is barely... Look at this. They tried their entire time to get that, and they have to run. It was a good call. I like the attempt. It was desperate as desperate gets.
So even if they don't kill Dashro, even if they don't get the turret, they did complete their tertiary objective, which was to shove the lane and burn out Baron timer. That's why I called for UCSC to go for a 4-1 split push. And if you are going to go for that Dragon before Baron's up, send minimal people. Code Scott. Oh, good flash.
Nope, the follow-up, and I mean, Fodlacus, I think is going to have this chase down.
Slow,
okay. The volley was enough. Volley is good. And you survive, but again, you don't have any summoner skills. This time around, though, good out.
Yeah, well, you traded both of them for Fodlacus. And I'd argue at this point that the Vladimir spells are more important. The less ways he has of diving your backline and getting a 5-man Hemoplague, the better it is for you. Sure, Code has to position a lot more carefully, but you can trust your team to help you, whereas nobody can really help Fodlacus find a 5-man engage.
All right, well, here it comes down to, this is the final defensive. Jax is still off on the edge, by the way. Jax does not care. Jax is not with the team. Their base is getting annihilated, and they're still taking that chance, which, I mean, maybe you say, hey, they can't finish a game, but I think they can. Minions are currently up. Inhibitor is going to be taken. I think Jax needs to recall right now. Jax needs to get with the team. No wave, though. All right, maybe I'm not the right one to be a playmaker, shot caller, IGN, or whatever. The recalls are coming out here. One is there. Arrow does land, and you catch the cleanse out one, and now the fight comes right back in. A challenge behind us to get the kill. That's the execution. You get one. Coat looking to try and turn it around. Dash is trying to back up as well, but that's a huge Hemoplague getting in the back line. Look at the burst damage. Look at the damage. It is running them rampant. You teleported behind, but only to your death. Xander is the last one alive. You flashed to safety, but you're a lowly support. UCSC storm their way forward and take the game. GG and a mini reverse sweep. TaMu Maroon fall.
Dash, Zero, ender of worlds we called him, ender of games, ender of series, as UCSC pick up a win and